Manasseh, kindly introduce yourself to us.
Okay, my name is Manasseh Mathiang. I am an activist, a musician, working with the youth group Anataban Arts Initiative. Thank you for having me.
Thank you so much, Manasseh, for that introduction. So we are talking about World Press Freedom Day, right? And we are talking about the state of media in South Sudan. So an activist, what is your take on press freedom in South Sudan?
What I can say is that it could get better. One thing for sure is that when we were still fighting for our freedom as South Sudan, one of the groups of people that really had it rough was the South Sudanese journalist who used to get detained, arbitrarily arrested, and they suffered. They suffered for the good of the country. But unfortunately, nowadays we still hear of journalists being arrested for doing their work. We still hear of pages of newspaper articles being omitted out. So these are things that we find concerning. However, what I can also say, the positive side is that the media in South Sudan is also growing. It's expanding, and it's developing. It's evolving. I mean, that is something that I find to be really productive. There are more media houses coming. The journalists and the media fraternity in South Sudan are trying their level best to catch up with the rest of the world, which is something that I find to be incredible. Alternative media, that is the media houses that are using internet, and I mean the online media and all of that. These are things that are growing and making life to be more better for the citizens to get the information they need. This is iRadio, and you have a YouTube channel. This is something good. This is something amazing. I like it.
Thank you. So this year's theme for World Press Freedom Day is information is a public good, yeah? And we have witnessed during pandemic, there's a lot of changes when it comes to communication. In your opinion, what do you think, or how vital was it to effectively distribute information during the pandemic?
Well, I would like to thank the South Sudan media fraternity. They tried their best to to give the correct information to the public. They tried their best to really sensitize the public on COVID-19. I can say that almost 90% of South Sudanese population know about COVID-19 because one major avenue in which they got the information was the media. However, also there was also a competing avenue that really made it difficult for, I think, the country to fight COVID-19. Misinformation was moving in so fast, sometimes even faster than the media. And that's why you find that slogans like "Mafi Corona" is used frequently all over the country because people wanted to hear what they wanted to believe. And when they hear from somebody that they respect in the family, Mafi Corona, because they had it from somewhere else, you find that at the end of the day also killed the morale of the citizens in trying to take up precautions in combating the virus. So I think that was an issue.
Right. So you mentioned about how media was very important during this pandemic. As an activist, what do you think are some of the things that are hindering the importance of the role that media plays in South Sudan? What are some of the factors hindering, like media, what media needs to do effectively?
First of all, I think media houses need to really do more research do more investigation before putting a story out there. You find there are so many good stories in the communities that are untold. But perhaps also maybe the media is challenged in form of finance. Other countries you'll find that the private sector invests heavily in advertisements and in the media fraternity. And that makes it easier for the media to prioritize ensuring that that good stories that are in the community, that they can send journalists to bring out the good stories that are in the community. However, I think also sometimes one thing that hinders the work of the media is fear. You find that there are so many hindrances here and there. I will be open. For example, here in South Sudan, somebody with a camera, walking around with a camera in Juba City, feels like he's walking with a gun. Because anytime anybody can stop you and ask you, what is that for? Do you have a waraga to carry? What are you taking with that? And the funny thing is everybody's walking with a camera on their phone. But then when you're seen with the device, it becomes a problem. So and then also when they want to shoot a video or a documentary, you're asked to go and get clearance from the media authority. There's a lot of procedures that makes it so difficult for journalists to do their work. And apart from that, you'll find that sometimes I feel that the media fear telling the real stories. One thing that I feel South Sudan missed on during the time, let's say, during the time even the conflict was happening in South Sudan, sometimes we fail to tell the real story because the journalists could not get there where the story is happening. So you find that what the journalists were feeding us was information given to the public by the warring factions. So we could not tell the life, the experiences of the South Sudanese citizens who were trapped in the violence. We could not tell the real story of the damage that was happening due to the violence. And that was because the journalists felt, to me, I feel the journalists felt like they did not have the right support or the right security to go and tell the real stories. And also you find that there were times that the journalists were being warned, if you interview so and so, we will shut you down, you see. So these are some of the things that I felt was really making life difficult for journalists to do their work.
Exactly. It's always a very, is it not an easy environment? And also maybe just to bring you, talking about the challenges, you've brought out some of the challenges the journalists and other people that are involved in the media go through. So how can we strengthen actually media freedom in South Sudan? In your opinion, what ways do you think we can strengthen journalism and media in general?
Okay, first of all, I think the media associations and the bodies need to, the media fraternity needs to be united, first of all. I feel sometimes you'll hear stories of such and such happened to such media house. But to me, I don't feel like I see a lot of unity. If, for example, the border guys in the street, if an accident happens and there's a border on the street, any border that passes by will stop and ask and try to find out what is happening. I don't know if that is the same with the media fraternity in South Sudan. Life goes on. If something happens to Yar right now, life will go on. Our radio will continue operating, and other media houses will continue operating. Life, these challenges that the media houses are facing, if we want to make it better for the journalists in South Sudan. The journalists have to be united and have to make it clear what, and have to be clear on what they need to see happening. And then also I think another thing is that the journalists need to be more informed about what is the limitation of what they can do. They need to read clearly the media laws and know what is the boundary between you will edit that out.
It's okay, no problem. Just
anyway,
go on.
so the journalists need to know need to read and understand the media laws in South Sudan.